What's up, Active Lifers? Welcome back to the Active Life Podcast. I'm Dr. Sean Pastuch. I'm your host, and today's guest is one of my first personal training clients ever. His name is Josh Goodelman. Josh is the president of a marker company that you may have heard of. It's called Liqui-Mark. You probably have one of their pens, one of their pencils, one of their crayons, or one of their markers. Anyway, I signed Josh up to be a personal training client with me back in 2005, almost 18 years ago. I started working with Josh in the same calendar year that I met my wife. Anyway, Josh and I are still friends, and he's still somebody who I'm able to go to and ask questions of as it pertains to the fitness industry, because he is still what I would consider extremely active within it. And he has experienced everything from the group fitness environment to the personal training environment. I thought it would be valuable for me to bring somebody in who I know is articulate about the training experience, to be able to share with you what they are looking for when it comes to a personal training session, when it comes to a group training environment, why he pays in excess of $1,000 a month for his health and fitness. And he's been doing it for 17, almost 18 years. Why does he keep doing that? He no longer needs a personal trainer. I assure you of that. So the question is, why do it? And what can you learn from what Josh is about to teach you about why he continues to work with a coach one-on-one? Let's get you to the interview. No, we're started. We're started.
We started.
We're in the conversation. I hit the record button.
Oh. So I go to CrossFit. Am I not supposed to?
You can say whatever
I don't
you
want to
want.
get in trouble.
Not CrossFit Total Empowerment.
CrossFit Full Motion.
Interesting.
So now CrossFit Full Motion is in existence, and these guys are able to take, and girls, some of the trainers, the guys and girls are taking.
Trainer too?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, no, the trainers.
Oh, okay.
And it's a different world now. Come on. So I'm going to get kicked out.
When we started,
someone's going to cancel.
I think
think Sean's going to get canceled? Someone's going to cancel me.
I think when we started, the only woman on staff maybe was Chrissy Luna.
They're animal. They bring clients now to the CrossFit. Okay.
So the trainers who used to be at that club are now taking people to this
Not
CrossFit
all of them, but there's a handful of them who, to me, I think they're the top trainers.
Right.
They're there. They bring their clients there. They also train their clients in their homes. Sometimes they train outside and take them on. There was a point when I was training outside. I mean, there was a point when we went. I went with Mike. Mike, who's my trainer. We went to
Mike Ryan.
Gully.
Okay, I don't know.
We went to. Part of my training workout session that day was we did the hike up in Cold Spring Harbor.
Okay. That's a good session.
I was killer afterwards. My legs were fucking
I bet.
We're fucking shot. Okay. So the whole environment changed. So we can talk about, where my, how my fitness perspective has changed as far as what I want, where I work out. Here where I came from, working out in a club was known for, and correct me if I'm wrong, #1 fitness club in America.
I don't know.
Right? Equinox was claimed to be, and it was great. It's immaculate. It's clean. They have great equipment, and there's fluffy towels and Kiehl soap and all this shit, right? And you can go get a massage if you had all these, but who used it? And here I was, let's back up 17 years ago when I met you. Mm-hmm. And what was it? What do they call it? You did my Equifit?
Well, I remember I called you.
Do you still have that paperwork?
I wish. You were a cold call. You were just enrolled in the gym. I got your member profile, and I was so green. I was like, I'm going to read every question on this intake to Josh. And one of the questions I remember vividly was, are you pregnant, or may you be pregnant at this time? And in 2022, that actually may be a more legitimate question, but in 2005, it certainly wasn't. And I remember your answer. You're like, not that I know of. That would be very surprising.
That's an answer
to
I would
me.
give.
And when I met you the first time, I'm like, God, I'm so embarrassed. I asked this guy if he's pregnant. He's gonna think I'm an idiot. So now you can go back to that.
So here we are. We did our Equifit. And I joined Equinox. I remember joining. They just opened that club in Great Neck. I was living in Great Neck. We just moved our company out to Hauppauge, and it was going to be a perfect fit for me because the halfway point, I can go to the other clubs in Woodbury and Roslyn or wherever it was on the way home, save myself some time or traffic trying to get back to Great Neck. but I never worked out with a trainer, and we did our EquiFit, and then we trained. Now, I was thinking about doing this podcast with you, and I was thinking, what did I learn initially from Sean when I first trained? I learned how to do cleans.
Okay.
Yep, you had me doing clean. I remember doing barbell cleans. Barbell cleans. And I just remember telling you, like, I can't get this fucking right. I'm doing it wrong. Right? But one of the first things I learned, because I never did stuff like that, I didn't work out. To me, working out at the time before I trained was, you get on the elliptical machine you go to the gym, you get on the elliptical for a half hour, 45 minutes, you sweat, you're good. You go home, you worked out that day, right? Listen, and this might be totally out of line to say, but I was the fat kid my whole life.
Why would that be out of line to say?
I don't know, because in today's world, you got to be careful what you say with everything.
No.
Okay? I was the fat kid. I'm proud of that because I'm the former fat kid now, right? So I struggled with my weight my whole life. Okay? I also have this really endearing love for food, as you know. Okay?
Good food.
Okay? But I didn't know anything about fitness and nutrition. I knew nothing. Okay? And until I met you, I had a better and greater appreciation and understanding of exercise and fitness wasn't just putting my fat ass on a treadmill or on an elliptical for 45 minutes and calling that a workout. A workout was much more than that. It was doing not only just trying to do a clean, okay, properly with good form and the right weights, and and you put little weight. I'm like, I'm gonna look like the biggest pussy in this gym right now because you got 10 pounds on each side. But it wasn't about that. It was about doing it right, getting the movement right, and then learning from. Also, it wasn't just the movements and the workout and lifting the weight and fitness. It was also the nutrition piece. Okay, and I learned a lot of that. And I started to grow this appreciation, which then turned into an obsession.
Sure. Well, I think what you're describing right now is a testament to just about anything works better than just hopping on an elliptical, which works better than nothing. Because I had very little idea what I was doing. I thought I was really good. I would have told anybody I was great.
I told you then you were a good salesman. You're going to be really successful. So you had me sold. Like, he's a trainer. This guy knows
look, at the end of the day, what I can hang my hat on to stay, in the conscious and aware sphere of what was going on then is I was at least a chapter ahead of where you were. And so I was able to bring you into that chapter of the book. And then as long as I stayed a chapter ahead, everything was going to be fine. But what I really want to get back to where you were going, because you were talking about the best trainers are now at this CrossFit gym. I imagine they're renting space there. They're paying. Yeah, they pay.
From what I understand, they're paying a fee to the CrossFit for each client they bring in.
Right.
So it's like whatever. It's like walking in. It's like if you walked into a gym and you're not a member, you're paying whatever you're paying, $20 or something just to use the gym for the day. Or, I don't know what they have at the deal exactly, financially what they worked out, but a portion of what I pay, they have to pay to
the gym,
rent the space or take a client in.
Now, are you there when classes are happening?
So yeah, I typically train at 7 a.m. Okay, and so there's a section of the gym that's probably as big as this space here,
this room,
right? This area here that's all free weights, and then it's kind of like an alcoved out, separate from the main space where the CrossFit classes are going on. We have access, full carte blanche to using every piece of equipment in the gym, from rowers to ropes and everything that they have, boxes for box jumps, everything. But we somewhat stay, using all the free weights, the benches, all is kind of confined to an area like this. And I think there's a class that starts at 8. So it depends on the day, which day I go. And a lot of times there are people there and they're like, they're warm. They get there before the class starts so that they're warming up. They're on the rower. There's a tread. They have a Peloton tread people are on. I go there early before my training starts. I'll get there at 6:30 and a class is ending and I'll just jump on the tread to warm up, before I go work out.
How many days a week are you training now?
So last couple of weeks, it's been three a week.
Okay.
My normal routine was 2 a week, personal training.
So you've probably averaged 2 training sessions a week for the last 17 years.
Probably. Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
So here's a question for you.
There was a stint. There was a small stint after you that I I didn't train for a while.
You mourned.
I mourned. I didn't have you. I was like, you went back to school. You were in like chiropractic school.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fine. I got to go fight. Like, this is
it's hard to replace.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard to replace.
It took a long time. But, you know, and then I was putting myself back on that. Oh, let me just then I got into cycling. And I'm like, I'll just pedal my fat ass on a bike and, you know, sweat like a pig. And that's a workout. And I always thought that was great. But little did I know. And I had friends who were like, you need to strength train. You need, you know, you're not. And I then continued to grow a better appreciation, understanding of what I needed to do for fitness.
My friend and Dr. Gabrielle Lyon actually talks about the idea that people should stop focusing on weight loss and start focusing on muscle gain, because muscle gain will cause weight loss, where weight loss will not cause muscle gain. And now you need to sustainably do the things that lost the weight in the first place, where the strength does the opposite. Are you paying similar to what you were paying when you were at Equinox for this trainer?
No, I'm paying less.
Okay.
Because I'm not paying Equinox.
Well, other than that,
Yeah, we just screwed everything up.
No.
The whole world.
I'm talking about for the session.
The session, I'm paying less.
Do you think that's a mistake on the trainer's part?
I don't think so, because I'd have to believe that they're making more.
Sure. I'm sure that they are making more. What I'm getting at is, and hopefully,
I think that I hold on. I'm gonna interrupt you. I see where you're going with this. I'm going to look at it from a business perspective. Forget that I'm the guy who, you know, manufactures school supplies, pens and markers, right? So like my mindset's like, you know, I'm selling a 15-cent pen, right? I'm not going to, you know, I'm not paying Equinox $125 for a training session for an hour, right? So I think that there's definitely a psychology and pricing and marketing of it, right? And when I think the variables of the pandemic causing everybody's life to change and how we're going to figure it out, and the gym closed and, you know, and couldn't go there and people weren't comfortable and then people were leaving, whatever they had to do with their life, there was an advantage to training privately once these trainers left corporate America, right? To retain their clients and say, hey, look, I'm going to charge, it's going to cost you less. You're going to get the same out of it. And ultimately they're making more. So everybody's happy. Right? So I think that there was somewhat of, I looked at it as somewhat of, not for me, because I was going to do it either way, right? I'm maybe a little bit different. But
you're definitely unique.
I am definitely unique. I'm very special. In my case, there's the negotiator in me that if I was told that it was going to be the same, knowing the business, I'd be like, fuck that. I'm not paying the same thing. You're like, they're not, you know, I would have like totally worked, but I didn't have to. But I would have. I would have paid it.
That's what I'm
because
getting.
At the end of the day, I'm getting exactly what I had before.
That's what I'm speaking to. I think that what happens when the trainer says, look, we're going to train you over here and it's going to cost you $30 per session less because I'm not paying $50 to the gym. So I make $20 more. You pay $30 less. It's good for everybody. I think they misunderstand the value that you're placing on the session. That's correct. That's part of my belief.
I understand.
And so the reason I wanted to interview you is because I think that you do a really good job of articulating exactly what's on your mind without
I'm like Larry David.
You're like Larry David. Less hair.
Less hair. He has more hair than me.
But only because I feel like it's only because you don't want to rock the crown of hair.
Yeah, no, I don't want to rock that.
Yeah.
I don't want to rock
It'd be an interesting look though.
It would be.
Yeah.
You got a blade?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I go to a barber every week.
I know. I watch you on your barber show.
I appreciate that. So why do you think the trainer feels compelled to reduce the price if it's not what you were looking for as a client?
I'm not sure that they reduce I'm not, I can't speak on it 100% if this is the way it is for everybody.
It is for most.
I don't know if they felt, I think that, again, I think personally in this unique environment that we were in and taking people from an environment of going from the most luxurious gym around, okay, where they also paid paid a membership fee.
Right.
Okay, I was paying $200 a month, then paying for training.
Right.
Okay?
So immediately, even if they charge you the same amount per session, it's less money.
Exactly, it's less money, okay? But I think that there was a time, I'm the exception. I'm just trying to talk about the general population of their client base, that were uncomfortable.
Well, no, but
there were so many, like I know that some of the challenges these trainers face, like some of these people didn't want to go back to a gym environment. They didn't feel,
sure,
and respectfully so, but they wanted them to come to their houses.
Mm-hmm.
And then, here's
which is insane.
Which some of them built sick gyms in their houses.
No, but what I'm describing what you're talking about. The reason they don't want to go to a gym is they didn't want to catch COVID, but they wanted the trainer who was seeing other people all over the world, all over the world to come to their house.
Listen, you're 100% right.
It's insanity.
Okay? And now here you have like and I know this happened to one particular trainer where they were training a client who then moved 20 miles further away from where he lived. So now the trainer's got to drive 20 miles further. What was Josh's recommendation? Dude, you should be raising their prices.
Right.
Look at gas. I mean, you're traveling 40 miles round trip, more than you did before to see this client. You're willing to do it. You have to compensate yourself to have them obtain that training session.
Not to mention, you can't have a training session with a 10-minute gap.
No.
It's now an hour.
Your time is money.
Yeah. Well, so I don't want you to talk for other people because I appreciate what you're trying to do. I understand the problem that they face.
I won't consult for them anymore. I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Because I want to fuck up the whole fitness industry.
You should. If you ran the whole fitness industry, it would be better.
No, I'm saying right now I'm going to fuck it all up.
No, that's fine. It's good. What I want to stay on is the misunderstanding of what your trainer believed you wanted and what they believed you thought was valuable. Because I think that when they say, I'm going to charge you less to train you in this different environment because you're not at Equinox, so it's not as valuable. If you say, yes, I'm going to train with you, and you tell me I would have paid the same price, it's a misunderstanding of what you're paying for that the trainer has. I think oftentimes because they're putting themselves in the seat financially of the client.
You could be, and I think you're right.
So what are you looking for? What makes you say, Mike, I don't care that you're no longer in this luxurious gym where I have Kiehl's soap, fluffy
I just
towels.
want my ass kicked and I want to be in the greatest shape of my life.
But anybody can kick your ass.
Not necessarily.
Fair. Many people can kick your ass. What does Mike do that makes...
What does he do?
Yeah.
He, over the years now, I'm working out with him for 10 years. He knows me. He understands, as you know, because I remember coming to your house, I was like, Sean, my hip is killing me.
Yeah, in the backyard.
Fucked up, right? So, he knows that over the years, some of my limitations that I've, either from an injury and whatnot, he knows me mentally. There's a mental connection, okay? Because he knows about my life stresses and how that affects the performance I am when I'm working out. And he knows how to keep me in check, and I respect that wholeheartedly. Okay, because he knows, how to. There's a psychological piece to it, and sees me like I'll walk into train one day, and he'll look at me. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Let's figure it out
before the session starts."
Yep. He's like, "We need to talk. Let's figure this out. Get it off your chest. Like, because he can see it. Like, and I remember saying to him a couple weeks, like, how the fuck did you know that I was dealing?" And he and brought me back to level ground so I can have an incredible, I can have a good training session to focus on me in that hour, which is what I needed, right, to achieve the outcome that I want, the results I want.
So I want to stay here for a second. How long is a conversation like that on average when he says, Josh, you look fucked up today. What's going on? Let's talk about it.
It could be 30. It could be 30 seconds. It could be 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's it.
Right. Okay. And then he alters what he had planned for you that day. Yes.
No.
Does the same exact thing?
Does the same exact thing. Oh no. Hold on. Time out. As far as how much time we're committing, or
the workout.
You know what? There might be part of. I think he stays on track.
Okay.
I think he stays on track. He might modify it, but I don't even know if he modified it because I don't know what the original plan was.
That's a sign that someone's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm speaking to there is I have a philosophy now that if you're doing a great job, 95% of your training sessions do not go the way you wrote them down before the person came in because you saw something off, you made a change,
and you modified it,
and you had a conversation. So one of the things that I think a lot of trainers struggle to do that I want you to speak to as the client here is remove themselves from Josh is coming to work out. Josh is coming to get his ass kicked. So the minute he gets here, if we're starting at 7, I need to kick his ass till 8. But you said you value when he stops you and says, you look fucked up today. What's going on? And have a 5-minute conversation.
I do, because it brings me back to a place because it's like he gets it. He knows how to bring me back to a place so that I get what I want out of why I'm there. Okay. And he will modify it every time. I mean, it can even go it goes even deeper as far as nutrition, right? And look, everybody's different. I don't know. I don't want to deviate from the question. I mean, I want to make sure we cover this.
I want to stay on you. So okay. Imagine Mike is just like, Josh, I'm going to Wall Street. I'm done training. The next trainer who works with you, what do you want them to know about what you value in a trainer?
I want them to know about any injuries I've had. I had, this is minor, but it was crazy. I broke my toe on Labor Day weekend. This
year?
Yeah. Okay.
Kicking too much ass?
Yeah. Forget. I did a 25-mile bike ride, and then I came back and stubbed my toe on the bed frame. Like I thought I was going to fall off the fucking bike. So, and even though that was a minor injury, but I've always had this for the last couple of years, this chronic like hip pain. Couldn't figure out where it came from, right? Where Mike went into it analyzing and trying so many different things, where he bought me a fucking pair of shoes. Okay? Because he told me I was wearing the wrong shoes one day. So this is might be your problem. And it was more about, walking around similar to with no shoes on, right? But I was wearing, and I can't remember the name of them right now. But then
Vivo
also
Barefoot?
What's that?
You buy Vivo Barefoots?
Vivos. That's it.
Yeah.
One day, it's like, one day, so you need to wear Vivos. It was like, he just texted me, what size shoe do you wear? Next thing I know, I walked into training, here's a pair of Vivos. Wear these. You like them? You don't like them? We'll trade them for a different color. I had them. I wore them. Also, maybe I bought different training shoes. Okay? These like Merrill shoes, whatever it was. So he's totally in tune with that to try to fix why I was having a problem, where I was having trouble doing a reverse lunge on one side and I could do it on the other side because my hip hurt and I had this chronic hip pain, right? So he was in tune to me as a client. I want that. I want someone who's paying attention to me, paying attention. And I think a trainer should, not just from, there's a physical connection of what your abilities are in lifting weight, exercise, whatever it may be. There's a mental connection to know how that person is connected so that they're paying attention, which I'm told I don't pay enough attention sometimes, but that's for a whole, and Mike will love this when he listens to this podcast. I see, Mike, I know I don't pay attention. So I do pay attention. But then there's a nutritional piece to it. Okay. Like right now in my world, I have the utmost respect for Mike. Totally gets it from not only just to know what my goals are, what I'm trying to achieve, but has seen me for different reasons fluctuate in my abilities, whether it be strength because I got hurt and I couldn't lift and we had to rebuild myself to that, or seeing, just life changes, knows that I travel a lot. And I'm so good and regimented about my fitness when I'm traveling. But, as we all know, when you're traveling at a trade show in Vegas for 5 days, you're not cooking your food. You can't meal prep, and you're not meal prepping and taking it with you. I know that there's options out there, but you're eating out every fucking meal, right? And I'm affected by that. I'll go with you right now. You want to go eat a cheeseburger somewhere? Let's go do it. I'm not going to stop myself and deprive myself. I don't eat like that all the time.
Right.
But so he's totally in tune knowing, what changes and how, all these different variables affect my fitness profile. I guess you want to call it that. Okay. I'm going to back up to say also the guidance on how to shock your body. Right. When pandemic started, my whole world changed. I wasn't even here. I was down in Florida, with my mom.
Del Boca Vista.
And I never left. I had no gym equipment. Everything was closed. I hate running. I despise running. What did I do? Started running. Okay. And I remember, and I tell this story a lot because I lost 15 pounds I was down there for 9 weeks straight from the day I got there, because I don't have a scale in my house. I do now, but back then, there was a scale in our house in Florida. And happened to get on the scale the morning I got there. And when I left, for 9 weeks, I didn't put on a pair of jeans. I wore shorts every day. It was beautiful out, right? And the day we were leaving, I put on a pair of jeans. Night before we were leaving, I put on a pair of jeans. The same jeans I came down with, and they felt really big on me. So the next morning, so that the variables were equal, I got on the scale. I was 15 pounds lighter. I'm like, holy fuck. How the fuck did that happen? But I trained differently. I got my hands on dumbbells. I was training, even with Mike back then, virtually. I would be on the computer on a Zoom, and he would be telling me what to do. I bought dumbbells. I bought a bench. I had all this equipment.
I feel like you get yourself a spin bike somehow too.
I rented a spin bike, okay, but I started running. But the key part of how I lost weight, and I came back and I was like toned in a whole different way. Because here I was where I got my hands, I was using a TRX. I never used a TRX, okay? But I got whatever I can get my hands on. And I started running and walking 8 miles. And in addition to running, I walked 8 miles a day.
That's a lot of walking.
It was a lot every single day. And I strength trained, but I was cooking every meal, okay? And I did not go out to eat. I didn't bring in food. I cooked every meal, and I cooked good food, but I was cooking and controlling the ingredients. And that's how it was shocking my body, both from the workout change, okay, and the nutritional piece. So we learned that.
And walking 8 miles a day.
I walked 8 miles a day because I would go on. I would be on. I mean, I was in a totally different environment, so I would just have earbuds.
How was your stress?
Stress was high. I also didn't drink any alcohol. Not that I ever was a big drinker,
Right.
but
But there's a lot of factors that come
there
together.
were a lot of factors, and I learned a lot. And then I hear like Mike tell me, dude, I've been trying to show you this all along, right? But he's also not the person saying, don't have a glass of wine or don't have a drink and don't drink a beer.
It's not reasonable.
No. But my stress was high, so that definitely contributed to it because I was entering this unknown world of running a business in an environment that I had no idea what was going to happen next, right? But I managed it well, where most people were drinking themselves to an oblivion every night. I didn't have a sip of alcohol.
I found it wild that when the disease hit that was killing people who were suffering from health before the disease got there, that people just got less healthy. That was
crazy.
wild to me. But I want to go back to, were you still paying Mike when you were in Florida?
When I was training virtually, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was.
Was he watching you through a computer screen?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was going on runs with you?
No, not when I would go on a run, but when we would do a personal training session, I had it propped up so he would be able to see me and he would be able to correct my form and, and the best he possibly could. Look, the environment, it wasn't ideal.
He wasn't going to come down to Florida.
No, he would have if I asked.
I'm sure. but did your price per session change when you did that?
So that was the start of
leaving
Equinox.
Right.
So it did.
Right. But did it change from that when you got back and trained at the CrossFit
in
gym?
person? Yes, it went up.
Okay.
Yeah. Operating costs went up. Yep.
To me, operating costs are only relevant to a certain degree. And then it's what's this product worth?
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So I'll give you an example. Right now, we're training pre-sale members of our new business that's opening down the block here. This is a fine room, but this is not an ideal training environment.
No. I mean, it's great. I mean, I bet you I can get a great workout in here.
Anyone can get a great workout in here. But what I'm getting at is what they're getting is the attention and the expertise of the professional coach who they're working with. When they go over there, they're going to get the attention and expertise of the professional coach plus the amenities of the space. And their session prices are the same here as they're going to be there.
Okay. As they should be. I agree that they should be.
Well, what the value that I think that you have a great opportunity to share today is the person listening to this is probably a gym owner or a coach or someone who's very progressive about the way they think about their health and fitness. Otherwise, they're not resonating with the things I have to say. The coaches, I think, put too little emphasis on their own ability to deliver a high value product /service /relationship, whatever you want to call it, to the client. And they put too much of a value on where am I doing it? What equipment do I have access to? And to me, what it sounds like is your trainer, Mike, who's going to listen to this, right? Yep. So, hey, Mike,
what's up?
Take
Mike?
it for what it is. Fell into that because he spent an hour with you online. He spent an hour with you at Equinox. He spent an hour with you at the CrossFit gym. He probably put the same amount of time, if not more,
definitely
before the session when you were in Florida than he does now because he
still has a program,
has to program and he has to be more creative about it.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a really good example of a trainer who's providing a ton of value to a client who maybe isn't recognizing all the value, where the value comes from, which is his brain.
You know what? I would say, knowing him, I definitely think he realizes that. I know he does. I just think, if we started in a clean slate right now, as opposed to, I think they were just, and I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that I think the reality is that we came out of this world like,
it was wild.
Shit hit the fan. Like nobody knew. It was all of a sudden like you jammed on the brakes, right? So people had to adapt. And maybe some of the decisions they made initially were not the decisions they would have made hypothetically saying,
with a plan
none of that ever happened. Pandemic never started.
Right.
But I want to get away from this corporate gym, America gym. I want to do my own thing and think it through and have a plan. I think the decisions of how to price it probably would have been, most likely would have been different. Okay. Listen, every client's different. I have no idea if I'm paying the same as somebody else. I'm sure everybody's got a different scenario. Okay. I don't know what some of the other trainers charge their clients. Okay. I just know what I pay.
Right.
Okay. And the reality is it's worth more to me.
It has to be, or you wouldn't pay it.
Of course. And if I would pay more for it. Okay. Because I'm pleased with the result. It's proved itself to me.
Sure.
Okay. And, and I also value what I get out of it every single day, both physically and mentally.
Let me ask you a flip side question.
Okay.
You never met Mike.
Okay.
You're now being introduced to Mike by someone who's like, I got this great trainer. You should talk to him.
Okay.
His sessions are $40 an hour.
Okay.
What is your first thought?
Right now and today, it's 2022.
It's 2022.
And have I ever trained with anybody before and paid for knowing what it costs? Or
Yes.
am I okay?
Yes. And now,
I would say that's too cheap. He's probably not good.
Okay. Why would you think he's probably not good if he's charging $40 an hour?
Because it just sounds too, the costs for that service, knowing what those services should cost, that sounds too low.
What is that service? I know it's training, but what are you buying when you're working with a trainer?
Knowledge, your guidance. You're being taught. It's coaching. I mean, you're buying a lot. You're paying for an education. I mean, you really are. You're paying for an education. And you're paying for the knowledge of somebody to help you be a better person. Really?
Have you ever, first of all, I'm in lockstep with you. One of the things that we teach our students who enroll in ALP.
Did I just screw this up?
No, you were perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect. I didn't know what you were going to say.
I'm nervous here. I'm sweating.
You can take your jacket off.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not sweating.
Give myself flex.
I'm joking.
One of the things that we teach is I'm like, if you pulled up to a car lot and you were like, this Mercedes costs $80,000. This one's identical. It's $15,000.
Something's got to be wrong with it.
Something is wrong with the 15. I don't want the $15,000. No, I swear it's the same car. No, there's something wrong with the $15,000.
Of course.
I think that fitness professionals fail to see that. And what they believe is to do the best thing for the client, I need to charge them a really affordable price. And what ends up happening is when they charge a really affordable price, a $40 training session, a $50 training session, they're not able to put the time, the effort, the energy into the session that is necessary to provide a life-changing experience for the client. And so the client ends up saying, this is too expensive because it wasn't good enough to meet their needs. But now the trainer interprets that as, I got to bring my prices down even lower. And they continue to devolve the quality of their session. And
I think that it's some of the product of like supply and demand economics goes into that too.
Sure.
Right? I want to give you an analogy of something.
Go for it.
I also, in an Equinox environment, did group fitness classes. Okay.
Which ones? You were like in the wood floor?
Yeah. So I went in there and I would go in there and it was all dumb. You had your set of dumbbells and it was just like, it would be everything just all done. It was really all dumbbells and body weight and body movements, right? So you'd be doing. I don't know. It wasn't them.
Okay.
You'd be going like a reverse lunge with 25-pound dumbbells on your shoulders, reverse lunge to shoulder overhead press, right? And it was a group fitness class. I did them once in a while, okay? I actually did them pretty religiously, once a week, okay? But then I also did cycling, indoor cycling, and I loved every second of it, okay? It was before I bought a Peloton, and I loved it. I love cycling. I love biking. I outdoor ride. I enjoyed the thrill of music blasting and walking out drenched in sweat because I felt great about myself afterwards. And I know that it was a great cardiovascular workout, okay? And come out of that environment, and when I would be traveling, sometimes I would, believe it or not, being someone who was so, entrenched in my workout routine and became very compassionate about it and obsessed with it, I would plan my trips to know where am I going to work out, right? So if I had to go to LA, I would stay, okay, wow, there's an Equinox in downtown, I can go here, I'll stay near there. Or there's a Barry's boot camp, right? Because these are now we're taking a whole different step. There's a whole fitness studio. I'm giving you a little background. I enjoy those classes once in a while. They're awesome, okay? I had friends who were going to Orange Theory. So I'm going to get to how my analogy goes to like what you were saying before about like the $40 trainer versus... So I had friends who started going to Orange Theory, said this place is great, it's fun, let's go, we'll do it. I don't know what it cost. It was like $20 to go to class at Orange Theory. And I went in, and it was great to be in a class. I know I got to work out, and I know how to exercise now. I'm not what I was 17 years ago where I didn't know how to do anything, right? And I walked out and felt like this place is a fucking joke, okay? Because there's trainers there. I'm doing air quotes, everybody.
Right.
There's trainers there, or coaches as they call them, and I'm not knocking. And somebody's gonna kill me. And someone's gonna come at me that I'm not knocking them, okay? But I'm just being realistic in my mind. And maybe I'm wrong here on how their system works, but they don't program the class. That class is programmed on a corporate level. I had friends who were taking that class in Florida the same day and did the same thing. Because it's on their TV screens. The coach is there to motivate you. They're supposed to be there to correct your form, but not. Some of them do, and most of them don't. And I felt like it was just a disaster in there. So, and that class cost me $20.
Right.
But then here I went. I actually went on Sunday. They opened a Barry's boot camp in Roslyn.
Okay.
Right? I haven't been in that environment. And Barry's is interval training, treadmill, on wood weight treadmills, okay, and free weights. So there's a bench, you have your free weights, and then it's body movement, body weights, and they have a whole place. So Saturdays, and it's programmed that different days of the week are different body parts, the weekends are full body. So it's a 50-minute class, you're on the tread 12 minutes, jog, run, sprint, interval, then 12 minutes on the floor with weights, 12 minutes back on the treadmill, 12 minutes back on the floor with weights, right? Dude, it was fucking awesome. The music's blasting. The coach programs that class. That is someone, and they walk around the room with you, correcting your form. But that was $40. Okay, it was double the price.
Was it okay?
So if you were to ask me, I'm telling you this story.
I hear you.
If you were to say to me today, where would you rather go? Would you pay $20 to go to Orange Theory to drop in for one class, or $40 to go to Barry's? I'm going to Barry's for $40.
So do you think it's possible that Barry's did a better job than that Orange Theory? And if you had gone to a different Orange Theory,
Orange Theory would have been the same anywhere you went.
Okay, so
I think that the brands do a better job at delivering a more personalized experience.
How do you get a personalized experience in a group environment, regardless of the quality of the execution? I
think that when the trainer or the coach or whoever's teaching the class is physically watching you and correcting your moves and correcting how you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that means they're paying attention to you, and that's a good coach. Okay. Because you're doing it right. So, as opposed to just walking in and there's a TV screen we're going to do 15 reps of bicep curls, 12 push-ups, and you just got to keep following what's on the TV screen. Right. Okay, come on.
I'm with you. I just, where I think, where I want to tease this out is what you're describing to me is a coach who actually paid attention while the class was going on.
And there's more, it's worth more to you. To me,
Of
it's
course.
worth more value.
Of course.
To pay more for that.
I think that what you're describing right now is the argument that an Orange Theory coach would make about the quality of their class. Maybe not the brand, but when I teach a class, it is what you experienced at Barry's for half the price. And then if you go to a CrossFit gym, it's the same. They're like, we're like Barry's with even better coaching. We just don't spend the money on the lights and the woodway and all that.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
And I push back on them because I'm like, if there are 10 people in a class, 10 people, it doesn't matter if a coach in that gym wrote the workout or if the headquarters corporate wrote the workout. You're writing it for either the best person in the room, the average person in the room, or the least skilled person in the room. And then you're making in the moment changes for the person who is unable to do it the way it was written. So it's all reactive. There's nothing proactive about it. They didn't plan for Josh to come in that day.
No.
You follow?
They planned for everybody to come in.
Right. There's a value to that. And I believe somebody like you has the ability to navigate that environment because you've been a personal training client for 17 years.
But then you look at, just to your point, I see the classes at the CrossFit. Now, I never worked out in a CrossFit environment. That's not where I went and worked out.
Right.
Now I'm in that environment, personal training, while that's happening in the same building. Now, the place is immaculate. Okay. Is it, comparatively to an Equinox, is it luxurious? Are there fluffy towels? Who gives a fuck? Okay. I don't care, But you can see, to your point of, there's these clients that are there working out and doing that, they know how to work out. But you also see the coach teaching them to be better at what they're doing every single time. And it's also more personal. It's smaller. There's I've seen it when there's probably maybe like 15, 16 people, but usually it's like 6 to 8 people in there, at the time I'm going.
Right.
And you can see that they're giving them a more personalized experience. And to me, that has more value.
I agree. I think it does have more value. Where I think what I'm interested to get out of you is, if you think there's value in something like that, why still pay for 2 to 3 days a week of personal training at what I have to imagine?
So what are my options?
What do you mean? The whole world is your oyster. You can go to Barry's every day.
I don't want to go there every day.
Okay. You can go to CrossFit every day. And the same building.
I like the personal one-on-one experience.
That's what I want to understand.
And
by the way,
I feel like I like the personal. Go ahead. What were we going to say?
I was going to say, Mike, as you're listening, I'm not trying to sell Josh out of working with you.
I'm not Mike. I'm never getting rid of him. He's never getting rid of me.
I get it.
At least I don't think. He might get rid of me after this conversation.
Maybe.
But I doubt it.
Not after he finds out you'll pay more.
No, there you go.
Yeah. Oops. So why the one-on-one environment
because I know it works for me. I feel I'm getting a better workout. I still do group fitness. I still work out with friends of mine who are group fitness trainers. I work out with them once. I did one yesterday. What's today? Today's Thursday. Today's Thursday. On Tuesday, I did one with a whole different crew where I did a Zoom workout at my house with free weights on Zoom live with one of my friends who's was a trainer at the gym or a group fitness coach. And it's a whole different experience. And I still do that. I do get yelled at by
Zoom class?
It's on Zoom. It's live 3 days a week if you want to do it. And you just log in whenever you want. You pay per class. I'm not getting into how much I pay per class for that because I'm not exploiting the person
it's
right
fine.
now. But and Mike and Mike will tell me, he argues with me that you can't be doing all these different workouts because I don't know how you're doing it. And then it screws up what I'm programming for you. You're not giving your body the right rest. And, if you're going to sit there and do, shoulders and back, I can't do that the next day when I had it planned. Then I'm just like doing these jumping into these classes, which I totally respect and get, but I don't listen to them anyway. I do whatever I want. But he's going to kill me. But what I'm telling you is that the environment changed. Even though I still do that, I know I get me personally, I get a better workout and I'm more disciplined because I had that one-on-one experience.
I agree with you. What I want to understand, for the coach listening to this especially, for the gym owner listening to this especially, who can't imagine, why is it more valuable for you to work with somebody one-on-one and pay for it than it would be for you to come to my gym where you just acknowledged the coaches do a good job in a no more than 6 to 8, usually to 1 environment. And they can individualize, I'm air quoting because they're reacting, the workout for your needs. This is critical for people to understand, I believe. Because my belief here is...
Which one do you like?
Me?
Yeah.
I want a coach to...
No, which... Go ahead, sorry.
As a client?
Yeah.
So I'll give you it. I'm not going to use fitness because fitness has been my life for the last 20 years.
Okay.
I'm going to use martial arts training.
Okay.
Because I'm not very good at that. And I walked into a martial arts gym and I bought one-on-one training sessions 3 days a week for 2 years.
Okay.
Because I was like, you know what?
Did you tell them what to do? Because did you tell them everything they were doing wrong every time?
When they tried to charge me when they tried to charge me $50, I said, I'm not paying you that. And he's like, 40. I'm like, no. Like, we're going the other way. Because I need to be able to hold you accountable to giving me a decent session.
Sure.
And I've heard you're really good. But I want you to be on time. I want you to be planned. And
be prepared for school.
Yes. And I want to pay you enough to incentivize you to do that. So if that means you don't take a session 30 minutes before me, that's fine. I want this service. So yes, I did tell them that much.
Okay.
But on the other side of that, I did it for 2 years. And I think maybe a year and a half into it, I was thirsting to not be a one-on-one client every day anymore. I was hoping that there would be some kind of an environment where I could test my skills against people of similar skill sets to me, not the guy who just beat the shit out of me every time we would spar. And ultimately, I think what I would probably do is I would be in a group environment where I was being individually instructed. And then when I felt like I need to up my skill level on this, I would buy training sessions to do so. Okay. To speed the rate of time. So what we're doing here in Long Beach is you're coming in, you're buying personal training to solve your core problem. So someone says, I want to lose 50 pounds, whatever. Why do you want to lose 50 pounds? Why is that important to you? What would it mean if you could do it? How would you know you were successful? What if you weighed exactly the same thing and looked the way that you think you'll lose when you lose 50 pounds? So we really want to get to what they actually want. We're going to achieve that through personal training. Get them the competence and the confidence that they can do whatever they need to do on their own. Then we move them into an environment where a professional coach is writing every single workout that they do, and they're doing it in a room of no more than 10 people, ideally 8 people.
I think it's a perfect methodology.
Well, it might be. It's one way to do it. But there are people
let me just throw something out there. My examples of the group fitness are somewhat like that because I had experience of being trained. Even now, okay? Even now, when I'm traveling for work and I'm in a hotel gym, I am remembering everything I was taught in a personal training session with Mike and trying to follow that exact program on a Tuesday because that's what we did on Tuesday or whatever it may be. And I learned how to do it. So being taught how to do that has a tremendous amount of value. So you can be independent and do it outside of when you cannot be with your trainer one-on-one.
Do you think you could have jumped into those same group classes and had the same experience in 2005?
That I do now? No. Absolutely not.
So what?
I didn't have enough knowledge. I didn't have enough experience. I wasn't trained. I had to be taught how to do it. Do it right.
I'm in agreement with you, but I'm the guy who tells people this, and I'm the guy who profits when people agree with me.
You got to listen. If I'm talking to those gym owners out there,
you're talking to gym owners, coaches.
I'm a client. I'm a former fat kid. Okay, who has this real appreciation for fitness, and I work out regularly every week. You need to teach your clients how to do it right so they build the confidence. So some people are shy. Let's also throw that element in there. They're afraid to be in a group environment.
But you're not.
I'm not. But most people who are eventually can be.
I know, but here
once someone shows them that they can do, that they can lift weight or they can do it right so that people don't want to be made look like a fool.
You have decided that you no longer need personal training, but you want it. You value it. You enjoy training with Mike more than you would enjoy the alternative.
Yeah.
Good on Mike. He's done a great job. Good on you. You've made a conscious decision. The coach, the gym owner today is of the group business. The Barry's, the Orange Theory, the CrossFit, they're all of them.
Yep.
F45, Fit Buddy, it doesn't matter what they are.
There's so many of them.
They're saying, Josh Goodelman, 2005, you can join here. And our group methodology will get you the goals that you're looking for. My thesis is no.
No.
Even though even when you were the self-proclaimed fat kid, right, who I met in 2005, after
you saw it with your own eyes.
I would say it was more chubby than fat, but you have you wouldn't have walked. I remember you then. You wouldn't have walked into the room and been like, I'm embarrassed, I'm afraid, I'm intimidated. That wasn't you.
No,
it was just.
But it wasn't what I wanted to do either back then.
I follow, but what you wanted to do was get the results that you have right now.
Yep.
What I'm getting at is that I don't think that would have happened if you walked into one of the group environments
It
that you
definitely
described
would.
today.
It would never have happened.
Explain to the gym owner or to the coach there why not. And the reason why this is important is because we're the company. Active Life is the company that's advocating for the individual at the end of the line. You go to these conferences, okay? You go to these conferences. I speak at them. Everybody who is speaking to these gym owners, with rare exception, 10% exception, is telling them how to get more people, how to make more money from those people, how to keep them longer, how to upsell them into the next thing. It's never how to do a better job so that those people can get the results that they paid for. And what ends up happening is all of these businesses just fall into the belief that our model works for everybody. So you're the person who's like, I need something in my life to change. I see all these ads from all these different companies saying
every day,
summer shred, lose 20 pounds by Christmas, all of that bullshit. So somebody like you in 2005 may have been bamboozled by something like that. You go in and now 8, 12, 15 weeks later, nothing is different except that your knees and shoulders hurt. And you, Josh Goodelman, might have been like, fuck it didn't work. I'm going to try something else. I believe there are many people who try that and then they just believe that they are incapable of experiencing what can happen in a good environment.
I think that the client needs to be taught. They have to be taught. They need their hand held to show them how to do it right so that then they can do it in that environment next. I could never have walked into a group class in 2005 like that, knowing little to nothing about fitness. And it's like throwing somebody into a pool who can't swim.
Mm-hmm. It's very much like which, by the way,
would have been.
It's how I learned how to swim.
Well, I think we all did back in those days.
My mom literally told the lifeguard, throw him in the deep end.
So you'd probably get arrested if you did that now.
You might.
So for me, that would never have worked. And I don't think that works for anybody. Look, I see people around me all day long, like you just said, oh, let me try this. And they get bamboozled by, like Summer Shred and all this. And there are people that are just sucked into the marketing. Mm-hmm. There are people sucked into the marketing and they'll try every fad diet that's out there and then try, this new place opened up. And there's so many of these places. But if someone's not teaching you how to do it right, the results aren't going to be good.
How long do you think it takes to be taught how to do it right?
I'm training 17 years. I still don't have it right.
You're 17 years in. So what I'm getting...
I'm kidding. I think... so there has to be a commitment from the client,
sure, from
the student, right? I'm a student. You're a teacher,
mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think that there has to be strict guidelines. Look, right now, I came to a place, and I'm not trying to deviate from this. I'm just making the analogy. I came from a place where I gained a few pounds, and mentally it was bugging the shit out of me.
But you don't have a scale.
I do now.
Okay.
I do now, And yeah, it bothered me, but I feel good. There was a part that I didn't feel good. So what did my trainer do to make me accountable and figure out what he needed to figure out what's not working right now? Is I have to log all of my food, all my nutrition. I have a shared doc that I share with him. Okay, in my notes we both have iPhones, so I share the.
Oh, you're civilized.
Civilized. Well, I don't talk to I don't talk to people who have
green bubble.
Green bubble. No, we can't be friends. But I share a doc and I log my food, and he sees it live every time I update it. Okay. And I'm honest about it. You know, I ate ice cream last night. I put it on there.
Me too. Honey lavender.
Yeah. I ate ice cream. I had peanut butter.
Okay.
I had ice cream last night and I put it on there, but it's making me accountable. Okay. And he gives a shit for my results.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody's different. Going back to what you said, how long does it take? I think it depends on the person, but the person has to want to be taught, and they need to be taught before they're going to be even capable of handling any of the rest of it on their own.
So what do you think? Here's the pass I want to give these coaches and these gym owners. Forget about the summer shred, the 20 pounds by Christmas, because everyone knows those are bullshit.
Okay.
Everyone in the industry does. There are gym owners and coaches who genuinely are trying and who believe they're doing a great job. And they're telling people this will work if you put into it what needs to be put into it. It's a group environment. It's gonna be hard at first, and then it doesn't get easier. You just get better, right? That's the language that they would use. So now what happens is a lot of them will start to say, look, you need 5 personal training sessions to learn how to do these movements safely. Then you can go into the big group, and you'll be fine. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it could work as long as there's a commitment on both sides. But what if you see the client there's still going to be a coach there to check that after the 5 classes, one-on-one, let me just make sure I'm following this right. 5 class, I'm going to work out with you 5 times, one-on-one, and then you're throwing me into the pool, right? Someone's still going to be there in the pool.
There might be 15 people, 10 people in the class, but there'll be someone in the pool.
Someone's watching. There's a lifeguard.
Yes.
There's a coach, right? And they're still paying attention to everybody.
Define attention. You get 60 minutes. They're spending 10 of them at the whiteboard. There's a warm-up.
If you have me doing a deadlift and my form is wrong, are you going to correct me?
Depends on where I am in the room. Okay. Of course, my plan is to correct you, but what if I'm correcting the other Josh?
Some people need more attention than others. I'll do it. I'm going to get it done right. I'm not going to fuck it up because I have enough.
I want to take you back to the first week we were training together and
I
talk
couldn't
about this
clean for the life of me.
I don't know what I was thinking giving you cleans in our first week of training together.
Neither do I.
But that's
I didn't know any better. I just did whatever you told me.
What I'm describing though is you're speaking to that having a set number works for some people and it won't work for other people, and it needs to be the right person who falls into that boat.
Yep.
What would you tell somebody who right now is in a little bit of a moment of, I don't want to call it crisis, so I won't call it crisis. They're in a moment of, I run this group business. I'm looking at my members and they're not getting the results that I promised them they're going to get when they enroll. I don't even know what most of their goals are. None of my coaches who work here are full-time. They all are teachers, firefighters, lawyers, whatever. And I want to start doing more of an intentional job to help the clients.
What would I tell them to do?
Yeah.
I would tell them to carve out, and you want to fix the problem? You have to carve out the time and make the time and be proactive and spend time talking to every single one of them, schedule the time to ask them what's going on, ask them how they can do better, how you can do better for them, learn about their life a little bit, learn about, what might be prohibiting them to be focused on the training. Okay, or on working out, or why they haven't showed up. Okay, maybe it's a scheduling thing that they have to now accommodate a change to how the scheduling works. You got to listen to what people need. You got to ask them. And if you're the gym owner and you're walking in, you have these 20 people that come to the gym religiously every single week, and none of them are getting the results. Something's not right. Either they're not being coached right, okay, or the programming isn't right. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, I think oftentimes what happens in these
and if you spend time with them to understand, maybe you'll learn something so you can adapt and change, and then make changes and see if those execute the way you want and get the results that you want. And they probably will. You'll probably see something different. If you change something, it's going to change. If
you were a member in a let's say an Orange Theory at CrossFit of Barry's, and the owner came out and said, look, we want to provide a better service, and we realize we can't do it for the price we're currently charging. So the new rates are going to go to 50% more. How would you want to hear that message?
How would I want to hear that rates were going up? I would want to know what's going to be changed. What is it that you're changing so that I can understand how that new value right? You know, if I'm going to go in, is everything staying the same? If I'm going to walk into a Barry's, it costs me $40 to walk into Barry's to drop in for an hour. And now you're going to tell me it's going up to $60. Well, what is anything changed in the class? I mean, you know, is the class longer? You know, is there going to be different equipment? Are we going to now have the option to get on a bike instead of a tread? You know, show me what the value is. Show me what you're changing. And you know, you asked me a question. I'm reacting on the spot.
That's what I want.
You know, and Barry's did do that. Okay, Barry's did open up certain studios where they got rid of treads and they put bikes in. Okay, to still have that interval class. Why? Because they saw an opportunity as we're coming out of this pandemic environment of people who used to go to group fitness classes and used to go to I mean, they just closed the Soul Cycle by me up in Woodbury. That place was packed all the time. I didn't like that environment. Okay, that studio and type of riding wasn't for me. But they lost clients and they didn't adapt to why. Why did they lose their clients?
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of, I'm sure there's a ton of reasons, right? But Barry saw it as they had clients that were coming there to supplement their workout. Just like me. I went there Sunday. I had the time of my life. The music was pumping. The girl who was teaching the class was awesome. She was a great coach. She corrected people. She had a great energy about her. And I had fun working out. I worked out. I walked out of there drenched. I was sore the next day. So I felt like I got out of it everything I wanted. And I had a great time, right? And people like me were going, some people go there and that's all they do every day of the week or a couple of days a week. For me, it was a supplement. You want to entice me? You want to charge me $60? No problem. I'll go. But what's different about it? What's changed?
Well, the interesting thing there would be if they incrementally increase the price, where the number is that you actually start to say, I don't know. Because I imagine if they're 40 now and they go to 44, you're probably like, all right,
no problem.
48, maybe 52. What are you doing differently? Like that,
yeah, you start questioning. What am I getting? What's the value? What's changed?
Right.
You know, what is going on? It's just, you know, so.
Well, I think the really important thing that you said, and you said it earlier, is you can go do that as a supplement because you have the education to go in there and have a good experience. But I don't think it would be reasonable for Barry's to be able to say to the marketplace, no matter your fitness level, we can help you. Come on in. I don't know if they do that or not. But
I think they did. You're not listen, anybody, the day I walked in there, I hadn't walked in there in the longest time. Nobody asked me, you know, they do ask if you have an injury, tell us about your injury, we'll help you modify. Like they're very professional about it in that sense. But nobody came and said to me, is like, have you ever gone on a treadmill before?
Right.
You know, no one, have you ever done, you know, have you ever lifted a dumbbell? Do you know what weights are right for you? No one asked me that, right? So they are under, I think, an assumption that people know how to work out.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Barry's. I won't speak for CrossFit. I won't speak for any of those brands. Yep. The thing I just find interesting about it is how many assumptions end up getting made across the board in a group environment that are disabled from being made in the one-on-one environment. And what I wanted to hear from you today, and I heard it well, and kudos to Mike Gallo, is that what his last name is? Gully. He's doing a good job with you. You look good. Your energy is good. You're enjoying being consistent with them, right? Which are all the telltale signs of a trainer who's doing a good job. What you were able to speak to was the level of education, the level of competence that is required to have an effective experience in any environment that you want to.
Totally.
I think that's cool.
It's great.
Josh, thanks for coming on.
It's awesome.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Active Life Podcast. Please remember, give us a hand, rate it, review it wherever you listen to shows. We are on a mission to humanize the healthcare industry by professionalizing the fitness industry to empower the individual to live a life unlimited by the way that their body looks, feels, or performs. If you are inspired by that mission and want to jump on the wagon, find us anywhere. Active Life Professional on Instagram, Active Life RX on Instagram. Come to me personally at Dr. Sean Pastuch. We want to welcome you onto the train. We want you to be a part of the mission. We want to offer you the opportunity to pursue this right alongside us. We're inspired by your effort, and we hope to help you in your journey. Turn pro.